that Spotify is saying hip hop needs new leaders? Just straight off of a yes or no before we go into the nitty gritty of everything, Corey, does hip hop need new leaders?
No.
Okay. I might disagree with you. I'm not 100% sure, and it's going to take this conversation for me to really figure out. But I'm going to lean more to disagree with you than I agree. However, after they said Spotify needed, or after Spotify said hip hop needs new leaders, they made a post with a list of who they believe to be the new leaders of hip hop, which is Baby Keem, Big X the Plug, Sexy Red, Glorilla, Doechii, Central C, Rod Wave, and Lil Tecca. They've also added that starting last Wednesday, I believe, fans can also head to Spotify. This is not an ad, but they can head to Spotify and vote on the app for who they think will lead hip hop's next generation. Thoughts on this, Corey?
First thoughts, I mean, I don't agree with this list. I don't agree that it's necessary, and I don't think that Spotify is the brand that should be put to test for a list like this, or even be the one choosing who's on the list. So that's just my initial thoughts. But I think all in all, it's just a business thing first, right? You get people, you garner attention, get people to your website, use your website, vote on your website, keep the conversation going, post our shit everywhere. I think it's strictly for that. And I think it's just a clickbait thing to get people, to have a discussion on who truly is hip hop's next leaders. But starting out, I mean, I just don't necessarily agree with this list fully. I think there are some names here that show potential, but there are a lot of leaders a lot of people on this list. When I think of leaders of hip hop. So I'm thinking people that are truly in this bitch to change the landscape of the game and do it consistently for 10 years plus. I look at leaders from our generation, the guys that we grew up on, Cole, Drake, Kendrick, Wayne. I think of those guys as being leaders, truly motherfuckers, Kanye West, motherfuckers who have changed the hip hop genre as we know it. People make music because of these people. I don't look at this list of these new artists and think Central C is a hip hop leader. I don't think Lil Tecca is a hip hop leader. He's great. I love him. I love the guy. But as being hip hop's next leader, generational type people that change the landscape of rap, I don't agree with many people on this list. Sexy Red, love the movement, but a leader in hip hop? No, sir. I just don't agree with that. Rod Wave, I can understand that one. Definitely can understand that one. Big X the Plug, going crazy. Love him to death, but I also don't necessarily see him as a hip hop leader. All these people are successful and will be in this game, but leading the genre, like I'm talking about always being at the top, selling out shows, being at the top of every charts on the level that a Drake would do it, or a Kendrick would do it, or a Cole would do it, or a Kanye West would do it. I don't see people, I don't look at this list in its totality and agree with it. No way possible.
I think you're a little too gone more on the list than the concept. I do agree that hip hop does need new leaders. I can't remember if it was this actual post itself from Spotify or if this was something that I read on the side that was kind of raising this argument. But if you think about it, you don't have to always say hip hop is a young man's game. But if you think about hip hop in its cycles, you can think of the 80s rappers, whether it's Run DMC or Fat Boy or Fat Boys or Big Daddy Kane or Heavy D. And you move on to the 1990s, there's a totally different set of leaders for this game in the 90s. You move into Nas, you move into Dr. Dre, you move into Tupac, you move into Big, you move into Jay, and then you kind of move into Jay. Let's not say Jay for the 90s. Then you move into the 2000s and you get somebody like Jay, then you get Nelly, then you get 50, then you get Wayne, you get Ye, you get You get all of these people. And then you move to the 2010s and you get people like Drake, you get people like Cole, and you get to people like Kendrick. Even if you want to say like the Tyler, the Creator, because he popped in 2010 or 11, you get 16 years later and they are still the people that you name as the leaders in the game. We haven't, even if we've had somebody new, we haven't had somebody come and overtake the game. I do agree. And I think I've been saying this. That's why I was pushing for Lil Baby to be the face of this so hard. Every time somebody comes up as the new leader of rap, I'm always there to champion that shit because I've always felt like what we're seeing here is not normal in a bad way. I don't like that. I mean, I appreciate success, black success, great music, all of that. But I don't like that our leaders of the game are 40 now and they've been there 15 years. So I don't think this list is necessarily ideal, but I do think this is the right idea. And I think this is the idea people should have, or this conversation is something people should have on their brains because it's true.